Check. Okay, I call this regular meeting of the City of Fall River Park Board Commissioners into order. Wednesday, April 6, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. at the City Council hearing room. Roll call of commissioners.
Amber Burns.
Victor Farias.
Ellen Rigo.
Joseph De Silva. Commissioner Sylvia is not here yet. Okay.
Please stand.
Everyone stand, please salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take this time to have a moment of silence for the people in Ukraine. Thank you. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Alrighty. Acceptance of the minutes from the March 2nd, 2022 meeting.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from March 22nd.
Second.
March 2nd.
Sorry.
Second.
2022.
Commissioner Farias made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Rigo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Citizen input. Do we have any citizen input? Any correspondence sent to us for citizen input? No. Okay. New business. I have a motion to take item F out of order. Can I get a commit to take item F out of order?
Oh, I make a motion that we take F out of order.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Farias made the motion to take item F out of order, seconded by Commissioner Rigo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item F, pre-Memorial Day event at Bicentennial Park, Vietnam Wall Memorial, Duval Street, on 5/28/2022, from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Have anybody here to talk about this? Come on up to the microphone, please. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Bill Damaris. I live at 22 Alty Street, representing the Fort War Veterans Council as an event coordinator. With me is the commander, Robert Guinan, of the War Veterans Council. Bob, want to give your address?
Yes, if you.
Robert Guinan, Commander of the War Council. My address is 258 Savoy Street, Fall River.
State, what would you like to do?
Okay, well, the Fort War Veterans Council has partnered with the Rolling Thunder, which is doing, Rolling Thunder is a national organization, and they take care of the wall. And they also keep alive the memory of POWs and MIAs. The day before Sunday, so Saturday night, we like to go there and candlelight vigil, not candles. We're not going to set anything on fire. We're going to use flashlights or phones or whatever, just to put light on the whole situation. The day before, we have like a contract with the city. Saturday before, we're going to wash the whole wall down, wash it, and clean up the whole area so that Saturday it's all ready.
Do you have any questions from commissioners?
No.
And just I'll let the record state Commissioner Sylvia is here now, so we have all 5 commissioners.
So I make a motion that we grant this.
No other questions before motions? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this?
I make a motion to approve the.
I have a question. May I ask a
Go
question?
ahead.
Okay. On Memorial Day is Monday, we're celebrating on Sunday. When we come in from, when the groups that are joining us, Rolling Thunder, come in through 138, they're going to be stopping there to pay their respects, lay a wreath, and then come on. Do we need to get a special permit for that, to lay the wreath? Nancy?
Not for the park. I don't know if we need any special.
Oh, we have all the city permits. I have the mayor's office, the police department, everybody else. We're already signed up. I want to make sure in case we need them from here. That's all. Okay. That's it.
All right, do I have a motion to approve this permit?
Make a motion to approve it.
Second. Commissioner Farris made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Regal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you, veterans. Okay, I'm gonna go back to item A.
I'll make a motion to resume to, back to the normal, business.
Yep. And, okay, Commissioner Farris made that motion to resume to first item A, seconded by Commissioner Regal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item A, request for putting in a picnic tables in Ruggles Park on Seabury Street by Nuno's Ice Cream Shop. Is anybody here for that? Can you come up to the record, please? State your name and address for the record.
Steve Sario, my property is at 270 Seabury Street. It's no-nos, by the way, it means grandfather in
No-nos,
Italian.
Okay, so we talked with Corporation Counsel and that to see if there's any liability in there, and then we had the concerns with the trash and everything, who was gonna be responsible, what type of picnic tables and that. What I talked to Councilor Pereira, the building department, they have is the outdoor seating that I went by your establishment to see where it's gonna be. You have significant amount of room on that sidewalk and everything on Seabury Street, that if you request with the building department and then they go before the council and that to give outdoor seating for you, to put a couple of tables on the side of your building for the outdoor seating that they're doing for restaurants and everything now, would probably be your best bet, because if we open it up to have tables in a city park now, it's a liability on the city and everything, and then we're gonna, every single business that's close to a park is gonna wanna do this. So,
They should.
you know, we understand that, but it's kind of a catch-22.
Well, to address your trash issue, I'm going to handle that.
Yep.
Every bit of that trash is going to have my logo and name on it, so I'm going to take care of it regardless of whether it's the existing
Yep.
picnic tables or any future ones.
Yep.
That's not a magnanimous gesture on my part, that's
Yep.
got my name on it, so I'm going to
Yep.
clean that up.
And we do have a new picnic table that was just installed there,
I saw
just a
it, yeah.
little over in it. So, like I said, we can't stop anybody from going in to, you know, enjoy the ice cream, go over to the parks and everything, and enjoy it and everything. But my recommendation, I don't know how the other commissioners feel, I would think it's probably better off to request to put outdoor seating right on the side of your establishment.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. I've got a walk-up window that's going to take all that. The sidewalk's not that wide
Okay.
versus a giant park.
How does any other commissioners feel?
I agree. It would open up a can of worms,
Commissioner Rigo, you have questions?
yes. And I would say, well, how come I don't get tables in our park, you know, another park? Other parks are gonna say, well, why can't we get more tables?
I personally disagree. I feel like it would be beneficial for the city, because I feel like that would bring more community, people would come out more, we would have more picnics. When I was a kid, we used to go to the park all the time for picnics. That doesn't happen anymore. And I feel like that would be more inviting, and it would be more space for the residents to be able to, not even necessarily for your business, obviously it would be beneficial for your business,
Sure.
but I think in general for the city.
Mutually beneficial for me
Yes,
and the city.
I think that it would be beneficial for the city. Because like I said, when I was a kid, we used to go to the park all the time, and it would be nice to not have to sit on the grass and eat. You could have tables and stuff. That is my take on it.
Any other questions? Commissioner Sylvia?
I have to agree with Commissioner Burns. We do things in the parks to try and get people to use the parks more often. A couple of picnic tables, I don't think it's gonna be harmful. I think that, I agree with Commissioner Burns that, it'll bring more people to the park that probably ordinarily wouldn't go to that park. With a new business like that, right there across the street, would certainly be beneficial to the neighborhood. More people in the park means more security in the park for the people who don't want to, you know, behave themselves, I guess is the way to put it. More people there, more use, more secure.
For its intended purpose.
I'm not against it. I think the liability issue is minimum from what I'm reading, from Corporation Counsel. There is gonna be liability with everything.
May I just interject there?
Yep.
That liability of which you speak already exists. Whether there's 1 or 4 picnic tables, the liability is the same, because if there's not a picnic table there, they're gonna sit on the ground. The liability doesn't change.
No, but what our understanding is, the park, the picnic table that's there already is our property, it's installed in the ground. If you're gonna buy tables of your own, you're gonna put these, are they gonna be wooden? And everything, and you're gonna just place them on the edge of the grass? That's what I'm saying, they're not gonna be permanently installed,
That's correct.
so.
Those are nice ones. I'm not putting those on.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are expensive
This is the thing
and
that
concrete
commissioners
slabs
have
and
to
all,
understand
and all
is
that.
These are
Also-
gonna be his own personal tables that he wants to place on the city park.
Correct. However, we have wooden picnic tables that are at Kennedy Park.
I don't have any wooden picnic tables like that.
Down on where the playground is?
No.
Them are
no
them are
wooden
recycled
tables.
Those are not
material.
wooden tables.
They're not wooden?
No.
They're recycled too.
I apologize then. I've sat on them and I thought they were wooden.
I think they're installed in the ground, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, everything, all our tables are anchored.
That's why they're still there.
I think part of the liability in question is who's gonna be responsible. If he's gonna install the tables, we've done this in the past with other things, if you're gonna install tables, you're responsible for them, we're not. If they get damaged and destroyed, the city's not liable to reimburse you
Sure.
for those tables.
If they're exist as my property, then absolutely I agree with you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not opposed to it.
Any other-
You're saying that you're not gonna, are they gonna be taken in at
Sorry,
night
sir.
and
Oh, no, I'm talking about an 8-foot long.
so something
Yeah, it's gonna be
happens
as
to
big
them?
as the table he's
Right.
sitting
Yeah.
on with benches on the
If
side.
something happens to them during the night, in other words, if, I know you're taking
The
a
city can
chance.
say that they're not liable for that,
Right.
but I mean, in all honesty, you could give this gentleman this whole thing on a pilot type program, and if the trash becomes something that's outrageous, then we can see what we can come up with. Now, whether the city will put picnic tables there, I don't know. I think when we do that, the leagues put their own picnic tables on different sections of the city, and they're responsible for them. If they're damaged, the leagues replace them. So I think if we're gonna go to this point, then that's the same liability. I don't know that the city needs to put the tables there. I think that if you're willing to put the tables there and understand that the city of Fall River is not gonna be liable if they're carved into or whatever.
Oh, I understand that completely.
That just goes with the territory, you know what I mean?
I understand that. I have no issues with
And
that.
as for the trash, then that's something that if we get to a point that the trash is just something that we go, we contact you and we go, listen, you're
Sure.
gonna have to empty these barrels.
And that's
every
gonna
night 'cause
happen
the
whether there's
trash is-"
picnic tables there or not.
Exactly, but, I mean, the picnic tables are gonna probably put the trash in that area, and if that becomes a problem, then we'll have to address it. So my suggestion would be, on a temporary basis, to probably allow this and hope that there's not an issue, but have you under the understanding that if there is an issue, we're gonna have to address it again.
I have no issues with that.
Mr. Perry has a question. He's the director of DCM.
John Barry. So, just wanted to add a couple of things. So it seems like we might be 2-2 with a swing vote here at some point. So if you look a little closer at Corporation Counsel's opinion, you look at one, obviously, we want the tables to be in good condition and safe. But to your point, Ms. Smith, this will be an agreement between the park board and, I'm sorry, what was your last name?
Serio.
Mr. Serio. The city would need to be added to Mr. Serio's insurance policy as an additional insured. That'd be something we would require from you. That would, you can do that through your insurance company. And it would be at the board's sole discretion. So if, to Ms. Smith's point again, trash becomes an issue, there become debates as to whether somebody can use what you term your property in the park. So if another group of individuals who may not be buying ice cream, at that point, I don't believe it would be your purview to be able to say, hey, get off the tables so my customers can sit.
Hopefully, I'm way too busy to.
All right, right. So all I'm saying is these are the types of things that may come up, and at that point, if the board wanted to revisit it, you could. And I would say that maybe the board puts a stipulation that we inspect the tables before they're installed to make sure that they're safe and in good condition. But those two things would be required. The fact that we would be listed on the city of Fall River would be listed as an additional insured on your policy, and that the board has the discretion to end this agreement between Mr. Serio and the park board itself at any point. So I don't know if that eases anybody's concerns or may lend some clarity to, our liability in this being covered through our liability additionally insured on his policy. So just wanted to add that to make it clear so everybody knows what the deal would be there.
I'm not opposed to doing what you had just said.
Yeah, I'm
and
not-
giving it as a trial basis to see, and let us weigh it out and see how it goes.
Yes, and I'm not arguing for or against. It's obviously the board's purview as to what you'd like to do. I just wanted to be clear on some of the things we would require from Mr. Serio. So if that makes your decision any easier, that was the input I wanted to add.
Are you fine with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not looking to recreate the wheel here. I want to play a couple of places for my, my customers to sit. I think my shop is going to benefit this park greatly, as is it's going to benefit me, so I'm not here saying I'm doing incredible things for the city, I'm not.
Well, just so you know, there is a food lunch program that takes place in that park every day during the week, so just so you know, there may be other people on those tables during that time, and that's like Mr. Perry referred to.
I'm more concerned about weekends and nights, summer nights.
Yep.
All right, do we have,
I make a motion to approve on a,
I'll second that motion.
hold on, let her say the whole thing.
I don't know, do we want to
Pilot
do it?
program, temporary
Like a
basis.
like temporary, but like throughout, like revisit in the fall and see where we're at? Because I don't want to say a month, and obviously it's not busy season for you necessarily yet, so we could say,
You could say the fall, or if there is a
If there's an
private
issue,
problem
yes.
that arises, we will do it earlier than that, I would say, then.
yeah,
You could
so
do
I
it
make a
that way.
motion to approve to revisit in the fall prior if there's any issues.
And to have the city, Mr. Perry and Mrs. Smith inspect the tables, and also as the city as a secondary to the insurance.
I'm assuming the
I
tables
mean-
would be brand new when you started.
I was gonna say, if that's a stipulation, we should give him what our qualifications are for the tables, if that's the case, because we don't want him to go and buy them and then you go there and say, oh wait, these are not.
And again, if
Yeah.
you read the email down at the last paragraph, Mr. Dion, Mike Dion from the Community Development Agency has said that he may have money available to help you purchase said tables, and if he does,
Yep.
and that was
Right, but my
reasonable.
concern with that is the leagues saying, well, we bought tables for him, are we gonna buy tables for this league, are we gonna buy
Well-
tables for that league? And that was my concern with that one thing, so if Mr. Serio is willing to do that, we don't cross that bridge at all. So if he's willing to pay for those tables, I mean, down the road, we can do that if we're gonna put them everywhere, but I think we're gonna run into a little bit of an issue.
I,
You can give me that
yeah.
face.
If a private, well, all right.
I think that if this, I feel like we're at the point where the city of Fall River have these business owners that want to put these certain things in place.
That's the
that
board's
if we-
decision.
If the city can help them, then we should. Like, I understand it's gonna open the can of worms with, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but
Okay.
this is something that I think if there are funds to help, then we should do that. Yeah, that's my take on it. I just feel like we need to move forward as a city, and this is one way to get there.
The neighborhood's going to come up.
I grew up in Ruggles Park, and it bothers me every day that I go by there, and there's literally nothing going on in that park.
Wait 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I grew up in that park, played PAL softball my entire life, so. So yes, my motion has been made.
Any second that?
Second it,
Question?
yes, Commissioner Sylvia.
Statement. If CDA is gonna provide funds for this project, I agree with Ms. Smith that it could open up a can of worms with other organizations. I don't think they should be handled on a case-by-case basis. If we're gonna set a precedence now, then, I hate the word, use the word discrimination, but if we do it for one, we gotta do it for everybody else.
Yeah, but
So if there's monies available, I would like to know what monies are available. I know CDA you said, well, how about, before we get going, a dollar amount, so we know how much can be provided. If there's, throwing numbers out as an example, if there's $50,000 available and you only need to use 7 of it, that leaves $43,000 to, use elsewhere for other organizations, so we're not singling everybody out and everybody's getting an opportunity to have their issues resolved.
So
I am.
CDA is its own entity. It's quasi-city, but not run by the city. Mr. Dion reports directly to the mayor, but is funded federally. I don't believe he has, as you say, possibly a pot of money, 50,000 aside for something like this. Each business owner or individual, for that matter, can solicit CDA for funding for whatever their particular project is. And I will say this, as far as the can of worms opening, I deal with Mr. Dion all the time, and CDA extends a lot of funds to the board, to the parks,
I agree.
to DCM. So I'm a little lost for how.
Is he going as a business owner, John, to Mike, or is Mike putting them as parks?
Well, I would imagine he would go as a business owner to.
Oh, then I think that's completely separate.
That's why I was
I'm
trying,
sorry,
that's what I was trying to say.
Mr. Dion had money to
No,
put in parks, and I
no,
think that's what.
No, if I'm
Yeah, exactly, that's, you know,
Right.
if there's money available for.
To business owners, then that's
You know,
another
we have
story.
nothing to do with
So if-
business owners or however else they spend their money, but that wasn't made clear in the corporation council
Yeah, I would just,
thing. When it comes to money, I'd like to know, you know, cross the T's, dot the I's, so to speak. And, you know, I have concerns when we talk about, you know, money. And, you know, because this board does get a lot of money from different places, and we have a lot of projects that we're responsible for. And I think that, you know, we should know, like I said, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, where every dime comes from and how we're spending it. That's the only concern I have with CDA money. And I agree with you, that they spend a lot of their funds in the parks, different projects, and they're very helpful to this board. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I yield.
All right, so do I have that motion?
You want me to make it again?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve on a trial basis through the fall, and we will revisit if anything pops up.
Second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Burns made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, actually, do you want to do a roll call vote since it was Commissioner Sylvia,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Commissioner Farias,
Yes.
Commissioner Rigo?
Yes.
I'll say yes, so it's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item B, John Patello to address the board, scoreboard installations at Kennedy Park, Little League, Middle Street. John, just state your name and address or who you're affiliated.
John Patello, 86 Woodman Street, Fall River. I'm coming in front of the board. We had a board meeting on Monday, and like I said, I wanted to replace one scoreboard. Well, we went over our funds, and we raised enough to replace both boards at Kennedy Park. I have a licensed electrician that will, when the time comes and we do this project, he will be there to tie the boards in correctly. There's already existing wires already to the boards. It's just going to be a matter of putting the new boards up and just having them wired up and ready to go.
Do you have any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Farias.
No, when you have the volunteer that's gonna do this,
Dave DeLima.
you're gonna have, the city's.
If I need to have it done, with a permit and, inspected, then that's what I'll do.
Why don't we wait for Mr. Smith to come back in? Mr. Smith, the question was asked if he has a volunteer to do this, of electrician
You
that...
sure you want to ask me? Go ahead, what?
Mr. Smith, he had just stated that he has an electrician that wants to do the two scoreboards. He was originally going to do one, but he wants to do both scoreboards. They raised enough funds to do both scoreboards. Commissioner Farias asked if the licensed electrician that volunteers does that, does it have to be inspected by the
Absolutely.
city inspector?
Do I need to
afterwards?
pull a permit?
That's something you'd have to ask the building department.
Okay. Whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it correctly and 100% right.
I think your electrician would have to go to the building
Right,
department.
and I already spoke to him, and he said most 100% he would have to pull a permit, and
Okay. All right, so that solves that problem. Do we have any other questions? Is there going to be any names or
Right now,
anything
it's
going
gonna
on
be,
there for
it's just
sponsorship or
gonna, just
anything?
gonna put the boards up right now. We may talk about, the names afterwards, but right now, I just wanna get the new scoreboards up.
Okay. All right, any other questions or concerns from commissioners? Commissioner
One is
Sylvia?
already named. Correct?
There's a name on one in the Little League field.
You're gonna return that name?
Do we
to
know
me?
who he is? That was my question when Mr. Vitello asked me. I don't even know who this man is.
Yes, I do.
Okay, do we have anybody from his family that we could contact, or, because the
been a long
scoreboard
time.
actually should have been
It's been a
taken
long time
down.
since we did that, but I can
If you want to research it,
Find
to
out.
contact them.
find that out. It was a long-standing member of the league. Was a volunteer for, probably 25, 30 years.
Right, my only concern is if he put that, or they named that scoreboard then, after him, they're removing that scoreboard, and now the new scoreboard is being funded by all new people, so he may be able to be included, because it's almost like you're removing, it's not like you're naming a park, you're removing a physical object. So I don't know that we would necessarily, or he would have to necessarily keep that name, because technically that scoreboard is being removed. As a courtesy, he could include them in the whatever, I don't know if he puts a group or, but I don't know that you can, I mean, we've taken down other things, scoreboards, and I haven't put anything back.
I will, try and get Mr. Patello the information from the family.
And I think when I spoke to Mr. Patello about this, he had stated that, because there was a concern about, somebody had asked me about the scoreboards that donated the money, and I asked him, who's gonna, any names or sponsors going on these scoreboards? He said, possibly the only thing that was gonna be the Friends of Federal Baseball,
Yes.
Little League, which I don't think that's a problem, that covers everybody. Because if there was any, like, you should know, Commissioner Sylvia, you've been on the board for it, no marijuana, no tattoos, no piercing, nothing like that can sponsor anything in city parks because of the age. It's our park rules, we didn't make these rules, that was made prior boards. So that's why I think if for our Friends of the Federal Baseball Little League, I wouldn't have a problem with that on the signs.
Try getting the one that Mr. Sylvia is talking about. I had a licensed electrical engineer, went and take the motherboard out of it, brought it to a shop, and because of how old it is, they can't even get parts for it, so, I should replace the boards. I mean, it's nice to have for the kids when there's games going on, the kids can't see the score.
And I'd say if there was a problem in the future with that family member, that person, could easily add the sign, that name back on that, one of the boards later.
Well, this board would have to change their ruling, because the board's rule on a scoreboard is one name or friends of, it's not a list of names. So the board, if they were gonna do that and put two names, they would have to change their ruling that they have on file of one name on a scoreboard.
Well, I would say is, if it was, you said it was the Little League field, right?
It's gonna be the Little League field
And
and
then
the
you're gonna have the
senior.
senior field,
Yes.
so I would say if there was a problem, you'd have to take the Federal Little League off, the Federal, Friends of Federal off the Little League sign, put that gentleman's name back on that new sign, if there was an issue, and then just keep Friends of Federal on the senior field.
I would think that let Jeff try to track down the
Yeah, all I'm
family.
saying.
There may not even be anybody.
Yeah.
I understand he he did a lot for the league.
Yeah.
I don't remember the gentleman, unfortunately. There are a lot of people that have raised money for these boards. And I already said it at the last fundraiser that I can't name this board after a certain person who made this fundraiser because of her husband who passed away. She's the one that made this last fundraiser, and it was a big fundraiser. And I told her straight that I cannot name that board after your husband. So, and we've talked about it as a board directors and everything, and that's what I came up with you.
I don't know how the commissioners feel. I feel it's a good thing. They're doing something for the league and everything. I don't want to offend anybody, taking someone's name off and
Absolutely
everything,
not.
but I think it's a good thing for the kids. So, I don't know how the rest of you guys feel.
I mean, I think we should just have him try or someone try and contact the family I mean, they may be fine with you removing it. Maybe somebody would want the sign, like, I don't know what the actual thing looks like, but obviously they need to be replaced, so I feel like that's the matter at hand. Make sure we replace them, and then we can revisit the name or figure that out after. But obviously get those
This
things
isn't gonna be
up there.
done right away anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, I waited to come in front of the board before I even ordered these scoreboards.
Yep.
So,
Okay. So do we have any other questions, concerns from commissioners? Do we have permission to, he had requested one, but he wanted two now, so request to get permission to put both and have his electrician and everything work with the city to pull a permit and install them?
I make a motion to do what he has to do.
Yep.
Second.
Commissioner Commissioner Rego, sorry. Commissioner Sylvia, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
thank you,
If you can just stick around for like the lead
Right.
stuff like later. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Item C, request from Greater Fall River Recreation, the use of Ruggles Park, Seabury Street on Saturday, June 18, 2022, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Sorry.
No problem. Grace, just state your name and what you're here for.
Grace Gerling, Executive Director of Greater Fall River Recreation. Our agency has sponsored the kickoff to summer at Ruggles Park for over 25 years. Unfortunately, for 2 years, we weren't able to have it, and we'd like to make it bigger and better. We have a lot of community agencies that participate. We'll have a rock wall, some fun games for the kids. Domino's Pizza always co-sponsors with us, and we run a basketball tournament for kids. It's always been a huge success. We take care of the trash. We've never had any issues. We've actually extended it for an additional hour this year. It used to be 11 to 2, now it's 11 to 3. I included the setup. We usually break down pretty quick, so we'll probably be out of the park no later than probably 3:30 or so. And the other thing is, we usually put up a sign every year so the neighborhood knows that it's coming. It's usually that same weekend every single year, the day before Father's Day.
Any questions or concerns from Commissioner Sylvia?
Maybe Mrs. Smith can answer this question. How is the condition of the rims and backboards and the basketball court over there?
We go around every week, so we just fixed some at Highland this week, so as far as I know, there's decent, unless you got any complaints at the police department I don't know about.
No, I haven't been by there in a while,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm asking.
So, yeah, in
And she
20,
said she wants to have a basketball.
well, we've had them in the past.
Yeah.
We did it
I
in,
just wanna make sure, I don't want you to show up that day and, you know, there's a rim on
right.
it that's missing.
I usually communicate with Mrs. Smith and go over a few things prior to the event, so if there's an issue, we'll,
I have no problem with this, as Mrs. Gillen said, this, you know, it's a yearly event that's been going on since I've been on the board, and I'll make a motion.
I got one question first before. Ms. Smith, just so that way we don't get no complaints from anybody else that's come before us before, rock climbing, is that considered like the bounce house? I know.
Never had it addressed.
Okay.
I've had it in the past
And
too.
this- And,
All right.
and to be honest with you,
That-
this is a pseudo
Yep.
city agency.
Okay, all right.
So as
No,
far as
no
I'm
problem.
concerned,
I just want to make sure
they
because...
don't have the same restrictions as
Yep,
an
okay.
outside.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
don't have a bounce house. I do have like I rented a obstacle course, a small obstacle course, a blow-up basketball hoop thing for the kids to play with. And then received some extra funds, and I was able to secure a rock wall from Carabiners in New Bedford.
No problem.
So,
We just want to make sure because we've had to deny other people for bounce houses and everything for events.
no, I
Okay. no
totally
problem.
understand.
No problem.
Grace has the policy too, insurance.
Yeah, and I can
Excellent.
include the city and the park board
And I'm sure
on
the-
the
and I'm sure the,
certificate of liability if you need one.
And I'm sure the vendor has a license to liability also, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
so,
100%.
yeah.
You wouldn't be able to travel with it if you didn't
Exactly.
have it.
All right, any other questions, Commissioners? Okay. Commissioner Sylvia making that motion? Seconded by?
Second.
Hey, Commissioner Sylvia made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Commissioner Farrier, sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a great night.
You're welcome. All right, item D, request from New Life South Coast Church to use Kennedy Park, Bradford Avenue, and, for a community block party on 8/13/2022 from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Is anybody here for that?
Yes.
Come on up. Just state your name and address for the record.
Laura Bradley, and should I include the church's address?
Yeah.
Okay. So, New Life South Coast at Morton Middle School, 1135 North Main Street.
Okay. Just go ahead.
I did originally send out an email for the request of Kennedy Park. I sent another email just asking if we could instead use Maplewood Park, if that was a possibility.
Go ahead.
If that was a possibility for us to use for the block party. Last year, we were approved. We had the block party at Britland Park because we had a soccer tournament, and we did have a basketball tournament as well. And this year, we're not doing the soccer tournament, obviously, because of the parks that we chose. But we are still going to have a carnival for the children, like we did last year. It is a back-to-school, back-to-school backpack, school supplies and other basic items that we are also giving out. Last year, we gave out a bag of groceries, and we gave out certain clothing, and also we handed out lunch as well in the park. We did have music. I did speak with all of the people that we needed for the permits. So we were approved. It was successful. There was no trash. The cleanup was successful. So I don't know if you have any other questions for me.
I have a question. This is a Saturday, August 13th. Whereabouts in Maplewood are you looking to do this?
Towards the top.
Like whereabouts? Because you understand that's the biggest baseball league that we have in the city. That park is going to be loaded with families that day.
Oh. Okay.
That's the biggest baseball league we have in the city. They're very active. So
Okay.
all that parking is going to be tight over there.
Okay.
To hold another event there, that's probably going to be impossible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I did not
Kennedy
know that.
probably would be your best bet.
Okay. We will stay with Kennedy Park, yep.
Is there not something already that weekend in
The
August? though?
feast, is the feast that
I thought the
weekend?
feast was that weekend.
No, the feast is the week of the 28th.
And the 20th, you got something there too.
Right.
The
the
20th
arts.
is the block party from Brian
Okay.
Vianna and that.
Okay.
So this would be the weekend before.
Gotcha, okay,
And during the block party, the feast will be setting up all
gotcha.
that week to lead to the feast, and then have takedown afterwards.
Now, when you say carnival, what do you mean by carnival?
It isn't a carnival, like the ring circus thing. It's just little kids, like we have games and they do, coloring and, just little.
Word
just a
carnival
theme.
around.
Yeah, I know.
It's like a carnival
It's a carnival theme.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
carnival theme. Not a carnival with the elephants and all of that stuff, yeah.
All right, so,
What
are
part
you,
of the park, what part of Kennedy Park are you looking to use?
Whichever part you want to give us,
Makes sense?
we'll take. That would be most conducive for children and their safety and
I was
all
gonna
of
say, I
that.
would suggest, maybe going to the park and walking through, because we did I was a part of the block party last year, and that's what we did. We went through, walked through to figure out what exactly it is that we needed.
Yeah.
And then look at what the space is, so if you, like, we needed the basketball court, so we were on this side, but if you, and I'm assuming you need the basketball courts as well, but if you didn't, the other side may be more beneficial, so I guess it just depends on what you would need. So I would walk through the park and see Because you did say you will have basketball, or?
Well, we did last year. If it was available, then we would certainly include
Where did you
it.
have it last year?
At Britland.
Britland.
Oh, but
Yeah.
wouldn't it be better off down near where the playground is? For the children?
The playground's on the lower half.
Yeah.
Where
Right,
the
the lower
where the big
half.
fountain is,
Yeah,
that's the big inclusion playground in that.
yeah, that would be
And
fine.
there's the
just no
pavilion-
basketball
And there's
hoops down
the
there,
the
so that's-
pavilion and that, the basketball court's right across the street on the opposite side with the 2 baseball fields that Mr. Patella runs his league. And they
Okay.
would also be playing their games on Saturdays there too, so. And then we have is behind the baseball fields is all that big grass area that the Holy Ghost feast usually sets up.
My
So-
suggestion also, she can look at Ruggles where Grace is having that in June, because that has a basketball court, that has an open area, that has, Ruggles is in the center of the city. Up Pine Street, I'm not sure if you're familiar, if you go up Robeson Street.
Yeah.
So if we're talking August, you got a little ways to go. And again, I hate to be the one to bring this up, but this board had a rule that there would be one event in a park per month, so as not to have the same neighborhood without parking, without whatever. And I think Kennedy Park is pretty active during the month of August. So it may be in our best interest if they could find another park, because then you're breaking your own rule again.
Yep.
So I would suggest, if your group wants to just take a couple, take a look around at some other parks, maybe even North Park has a basketball court and a playground there. I mean, I would just look at a couple of different parks and then maybe send an email back to this board. You might not have to come back in, just as far as a location would
Yep.
be. That would be my suggestion, because one, I think Kennedy is just between feasts and car shows or whatever the other one,
Yeah, yeah,
festival
car
or
show,
whatever. We
yeah.
got
Car
a lot
shows-
going
car sh-
on down there.
Car shows in May, the.
No, but I'm
block
just
par-
saying
no,
in
no.
August, just
Yeah.
it's an
The block
arts
par- that's the
festival or
block-
something.
Block
or-
party. Block
Right.
party.
Yeah.
I think just start off with exactly what your plan is, exactly what it is that you want to do, and
Well,
then,
yeah, I think basically if we don't have the basketball, that's fine. I understand now with the ruling as far as too many activities within one park in one neighborhood.
Yep.
So perfectly understand that.
I
I
would
guess,
check out Ruggles. I think it may
Yeah.
fit your needs very well, because
Okay.
there is a basketball court up on the hill, there's some open area down below, there's a playground, and it's a pretty big open space, so
Okay.
we might take a look at that and just get back to me, and I can relay the information to the board.
and there's an ice cream shop right there.
well, that was the other thing. We would like to have food trucks. I know that I did speak with the health department, and they had lifted all restrictions, so if we needed to grill, because I know, like, a few years ago, we used to do Rock the City, and we used to grill hot dogs, and that was never a problem, but,
Right, the health department doesn't have the restriction of the grill. This board has the restriction of the grill, because you have, we
Yeah.
don't say that you can't grill, because CD Rec, again, they rent a commercial grill. We just say that you can't bring in your own
House grill.
household grills or charcoal grills or whatever. If you rent a commercial grill, then it's insured, it's gotta be inspected by a number of people before it
Right.
can travel. So that is something that this board does not have a ruling over, but regular grills, like people saying, oh, we can bring 5 grills
Yeah.
there and cook hot dogs, that, they don't allow that, but commercial grills, they do.
okay.
So that would be something that, and this event would have to go with one of our civic events form anyway, where you went around for the sign-offs to
Yeah.
the different departments. So
Yes.
they would be able
Yeah.
to tell you what regulations you needed to follow as far as having that kind of grill.
Yeah, we did that last year.
And
We
then
did
the
a
thing
lot
is
of
with
running
food
around.
trucks, if you have, gonna have food trucks, Ruggles, the only place I would say, because Seabury Street is only one side parking with the neighborhood there and the ice cream shop. Cherry Street is another one-side parking. The only one that has two-sided parking would be the Pine Street side. So I would, if we're gonna have food trucks, they would have to be parked on the
Food
street.
trucks cannot go on the sidewalks, they're
Yeah,
not thick
yeah, and they
enough.
can't go inside the park.
Okay, so they can't go inside?
No, they would have to be on the street.
Okay, and there is space for them on the street,
The Pine Street side would be,
the Pine Street?
because it's double
Talk to
parking
the
on
police
both
department,
sides.
they'll help you out.
Yeah.
Okay. We did have a police officer there last year at Britland. Okay, so would the date and the timing be approved and just wait on?
I would say tentatively approved. We
Yeah.
would, like,
Okay.
we wouldn't, you'd have to get back to me with the next week or so to say
Yes.
which park you think is
Yeah.
fine. But the board can hold these dates aside. We can even say tentatively at Ruggles. I mean, I don't think,
Yeah,
nothing's gonna be approved other than next month. So as long as you come back to us with a place.
oh, yes, I
Then
could
it should
definitely
be
do
And
fine.
that.
there's,
Okay,
and you should have to work with you for the civic form.
Yeah, I told her
Civic
that
form,
already.
and then, there's a $125 park fee to use the park and that, okay. And then, should have to have a portage on there or no?
That
did
would be
last
determined
year.
by the health department.
Okay,
we did last year.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so do we have a tentative agreement to give her that date and work with Mrs. Smith over all the formalities and that, and then let us know where she requested what park to be used?
I make the motion.
When she decides what park she's going to use.
Okay,
second.
with all that- Okay, Commissioner Rego made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Item E is a request to remove pieces of play equipment from Lafayette Park, Easton Avenue. I guess I'm gonna have Mrs. Smith fill us in about this.
This was just an old, very old piece of play equipment, much like was removed for Damaris. It's like looks like a big giant piece of cheese or whatever, big giant hut. And when they had a carnival there, they had to move it to the basketball courts. And we were gonna move it back, but it never got moved back. It stayed there, and evidently it's causing an issue for this gentleman who walks through the park. So, rather than move it back, when I received the information from the mayor's office, I'm like, I don't think it's serving any purpose. Perhaps it can be completely removed, because if they're hanging in it over here and you move it to there, what's to say they're not gonna hang in it again? And it's just a very, very old, I would say 30 years old. It's like a clay piece. It almost looks like concrete that's smoothed out. So if the board wants to move it or remove it.
Motion to remove.
Second.
Before we made that motion, can your department handle that? Okay. So Ms. Perry's gonna make that, take care of that. Commissioner Sylvia made that motion, Commissioner Farrier seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, item G. Request from the United Methodist Church cleanup at North Park, Highland Avenue on April 10th, 11:30 a.m.
We skipped, we went out of order. You
Oh,
weren't here for that.
Yes.
No, you're fine.
Sorry. Yeah, we took item F out of order when you weren't here, sorry. So this is pretty self-explanatory. They want to do a cleanup there at the top of North Park. I think that's good thing, isn't it? Anybody has any questions?
Just for the public record, people don't have to ask permission to clean up the parks, correct?
No, but she wants bags and tools, I believe, that she gets from Public Works, so that's when they have to ask
Okay.
permission.
Okay, so I've done several different park cleanups, and we've always just contacted the mayor's office, and he does that. I didn't know that is something that would need to come to the board, so that's good to know in general, I guess.
Normally, if they want to clean a park, they would, because John normally supplies the tools and the bags and whatever. So in order for us to know and to go back there on a Monday to take what they leave, because if we don't know they're having a cleanup
Yeah.
in a park and then there's 25 bags on the curb, we gotta know that, we gotta go get them on Monday.
Okay. Is there, for the summer coming, like I said, just so this is out there, is there a way to expedite this so that somebody doesn't have to like wait a month to plan it? Or
I guess
is
they
it,
could, I
is
mean,
that, I don't know if that's like annoying for you, but, Like if somebody wants to do like, let's say
Can you come
somebody
up here,
randomly
John?
decides they want to.
We had contact with her, and she didn't have a problem finding out, I was in contact with her, so, but I just said we would just put it before the board, quote unquote, as a formality.
Yeah.
But we didn't think that there would be a problem with anybody
Yeah.
offering to clean up an area.
No, I'm not saying, but I'm saying going forward, if somebody decides they want to do a cleanup, is that something that they have to come to us, or can they just contact the office to do it? Like, is everyone on the board okay with Mrs. Smith and Mr. Perry just like approving that so that it doesn't have to come to us?
And but this also helps the person that's putting this together, because then they can get more volunteers if they know there's a cleanup.
No, but what I'm saying is, somebody can go on Facebook and say, hey, we're doing a cleanup, but it shouldn't have to come to the board. They should be able to contact them. They say, yes, we'll supply everything, and then they can still put it out there. Like, no offense, not that many people watch these board meetings. But what I'm saying is, it would save time for the people to not have to come to the board to ask permission to clean the park.
Right, but they still would have to, I think they
Correct,
still have to
yes,
tell
yes.
us.
They would still tell you
Yes,
guys, but it shouldn't have to
absolutely.
come to us.
So as long as it's okay
the
with the
board can do
board,
that.
Correct.
and Mrs. Smith and I work together on a number of things every
Mm-hmm.
day. So as long as it's okay with the board, and Ms. Smith knows the schedules in the park, so it won't conflict with anything, I don't have a problem doing that.
Yeah, that was my, Helen, I just want to make sure it's okay with you guys, that it doesn't have to come to us every time.
Yeah. I would just say is like if you want the next meeting, if there was like any other like cleanups and that, just update the board.
Yeah.
That we had, hey, so-and-so did this park, so-and-so, just give us a little report.
Yeah, we could probably
Yeah.
just do
Yeah,
that
and that
via
would be
email,
fine.
right?
It would be
Yeah.
Ms.
fine,
Smith or
covers
myself.
everything.
Yeah, it doesn't have to.
I don't have that, no problem.
Okay.
I think it's a good gesture. People want to
Absolutely.
help out and clean up, that's a good thing for us.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Burns, I was going to say,
Yeah,
you're going to make a motion.
I'll make a motion
Commissioner
to-
Sylvia, second it. All in favor? Actually, let's make the motion to approve this, and then we'll,
Yep. So I
Make
make
a
a
future-
motion to approve this, and then for future park cleanups, it does not necessarily have to come to the board. It's within the discretion of Mr. Perry and Ms. Smith. And they can update us via email. It doesn't have to be like a formal board meeting situation.
I'll second it.
okay, second by Commissioner Rego. Commissioner Burns made that motion, second by Commissioner Rego. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Sorry.
One other thing before we start, do this, if we can, Ms. Smith or something, if we can, just send like a thank you letter to these groups that do help us out in that and clean up in that, just saying thank you from the board.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Item H, request from Health First for a walkathon on the rail trail, Quikasham Street.
That's been withdrawn.
Been withdrawn, okay.
Does anyone have to make a motion on that, or can we just,
No, you just,
okay,
I mean,
skip
you
it?
can,
Okay.
Do you wanna?
No, I for a formality, I didn't know
Yeah,
if
no
we needed
problem,
to.
no problem.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Should we?
No, they sent in a letter earlier today saying that they were withdrawing their
Okay,
request, so I think that's
Okay.
sufficient.
all right,
Perfect, thank
no
you.
problem. All right, item I, request from the sorry, I don't wanna butcher this.
Kazuski.
Kosciuszko Square wreath laying ceremony on May 1st at East Main Street. And then we also have a second item on this for maintenance water line installation at Kosciuszko Square on East Main Street. Somebody here, come on up and state your name and address, what you're here for.
My name is Brian Kurt. I live at 118 East Main Street. I'm president of the Kosciuszko Club.
Okay.
And we're the ones who have, for the previous 35 or 40 years, have been having a wreath laying ceremony on the first Sunday in May at the park. And per discussions I've had in the past with Mrs. Smith, I sent a request for permission to do it. We'll be laying a wreath. Father Rob from the Polish National Catholic Church is going to say a prayer, and I saw Mr. Damaris earlier, and we may have him release doves and play taps. The Kosciuszko Clubs have a meeting this coming Sunday, so we'll discuss whether we contact Mr. Damaris, but I only heard about that today, so that's what we're planning on doing. And as far as the water line thing,
Let's speak on first.
Okay, yes.
And we'll vote on that, and then we'll discuss the
Okay.
second item. Okay. So any questions, concerns from, I know this is an annual event, right?
yes.
Okay.
Motion to grant permission.
Okay. Commissioner Sylvia made that motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item 1 is approved. So item 2 is the maintenance of the water line installation at Square. If you can explain, I know not the rest of the commissioners are involved. I'm the chairman, so I'm part of the chain of emails that go back and forth between you, Ms. Smith, Mr. Perry, and everybody else is involved. So they just hear about this the first time and everything. But go ahead, explain, and then after we'll fill in.
When the monument was done as part of the streetscapes for East Main Street, there was an existing water shut-off, and the city installed a standpipe, I guess, whatever you want to call it, so that I or any other member of the club can connect the hose to it and water the flowers that we usually plant there prior to the ceremony. And I also water the trees that are there, the newly planted trees, and the shrubs, unless there's been a fair amount of rain. The problem happened sometime in mid-December. I was on my way to somewhere and saw water in the street, and I thought there was a problem, but I had to get somewhere. And then I got a call on my cell phone from someone who I believe said they were a foreman for the Parks Department, informing me that the pipe had frozen and the water department had to shut off the water to it. And it was December, and I didn't worry about it because I knew they couldn't do anything until the warm weather. And I contacted Mrs. Smith a few weeks ago and asked for the status of it, and she indicated she wasn't aware that anything was being done on it, and then we had a discussion about who was supposed to do it, and I'm a citizen, I don't know who's supposed to do it. I was just asking her if she was aware that someone was in the process of fixing it, and I found out that apparently that there wasn't a plan to fix it, and since the club plants flowers at the monument, last year cost us, I think it was $480, I don't want to plant the flowers if it can't get fixed prior to the ceremony, because they'll die within a week, and it's too much. I mean, I can schlep the water there, but I'm not getting any younger, and it's a lot of water, and I wouldn't know. It would depend on how long it would take for them to do it. Otherwise, I won't plant flowers like I did I think it was last year. There was one year, I think just when the pandemic started, we didn't plant flowers because I think that was the year we didn't have a ceremony. But so my purpose here is to determine if there's a process for someone in the city government to repair that so that I can utilize it to water the flowers that we usually plant.
Okay. So, Mrs. Smith or Mr. Perry, would you like to address this?
I'll let Ms. Smith speak on her piece first. I have some information as far as the repair.
Yeah,
I know there might be some backstory you want to...
Yeah, I had contacted Mr. Furlan, and, unfortunately, he wasn't responsible, we weren't responsible, but we came to an agreement that at this point, the water line needs to be fixed, so.
Not to interrupt you, can you just, I don't know if everybody knows who Mr. Furlan is.
He's from the water department. So, I mean, we didn't know that the water department didn't turn it off. Everybody was under the impression that they were the ones taking care of that, so. Water under the bridge, we're trying to come to a conclusion of, let's just get this fixed. We'll worry about who's gonna be responsible for the shut off or the whatever after the fact. So I had spoken to Mr. Furlan last week. I did send him another email this week about having our people meet out there. I haven't heard back yet, so maybe that's what John's gonna update on.
That is correct. So I followed up with Mr. Furlan, and he was gracious enough to offer his assistance. I spoke to his foreman today. We are going to meet on site tomorrow to take a look at what it would take to do the repair. They're going to help us with this, but again, I agree wholeheartedly. At some point, we need to decide if this is going to be something we're going to ask the Cusco Square Club if they're going to winterize the system when that season's over. Much like we do with some of the other leagues, but that's a conversation we can have down the road. We'll start with the inspection tomorrow, see what the repair will take. Water Department will help us with that. Mr. Kurt can have his event if the board approves it, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns, commissioners? Okay. Commissioner Sylvia.
Mr. Perry, you're aware that there's other issues with sprinklers and water?
Certainly.
And while you're in April tomorrow, I respectfully request that, the fields at Kennedy Park, going on 3 years now, they haven't had water. And those leagues always work on those fields. And, it's becoming very frustrating. I know you got a lot on your plate, I understand that, you man a big department. But while we're talking about water, I just want to refresh your memory that there's still issues on the 2 fields at Kennedy Park that have not been addressed in 3 years.
Are yourself or Mr. Patello available tomorrow?
After 3 o'clock I am. When I
After
get out of
3?
work.
Okay, so if you don't mind, when you leave work tomorrow, just give me a call. And I will head over there and meet up with you, and we'll continue that.
Mr.
process.
Patello said he's available as well.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so tomorrow after 3, when you
Before
leave.
3 or after 3?
He'll be there.
So maybe they just run up the road, maybe with the water department.
I'll let them focus on one problem at a time. I'll ask for one favor from the water department at a time, but we can definitely meet up, see if we can identify that particular, exactly where the
I don't
problem.
think he's aware of the one on Big Field.
The big field hasn't been repaired yet.
That's 12 years ago.
I would just caution, we're kind of getting off
Yeah.
the
Yeah, because we're
agenda
talking
items. so-
about items, we don't need open meeting laws.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Mr. Perry,
We have to stay on topic.
Mr. Perry, what time are you planning on being tomorrow there for the?
That depends on the foreman's availability. If you'd like, once I get a hold of him and find out what time works for him, I can give you a call.
If you would, because I'll make myself available, because,
Sure.
if you don't have a key to the box, I do have a key to the box.
Okay.
So if you need to open it and see it, look inside.
Ms. Smith, do you have a key for that box?
We did, but I know Mr. Pila from the water department has a key to the box.
Okay, if you could make a copy of that key,
I've given
think there's
Nancy
a key.
2 of them, I
as long
think.
as you have a key.
One went to the water department.
And you have a
now.
key.
If you gave me 2, one went to them. Whether they gave them both, I believe I still have one from what my conversations are, but I know Mr. Pila from the water department has the other.
Because the Kosciuszko Club bought the lock and provided the keys. That way we wouldn't have to worry about if somebody lost it, having to go to the board to get a replacement. So
Okay.
I just cut another key because I got the original.
Certainly. I'll give you a call when I'm on my way.
Good, thank you. Now it's about the board now, I don't know what they do.
So you understand that they're gonna do this, and then in the future, we'll have to probably, you guys will have to decide if, when we talk about if you're gonna be responsible to weatherizing it, your club will have to decide that. in the
Right,
future.
well, yeah, that's kind of for another day, because
Yeah.
right now I want to get it fixed.
No, and that's why
yeah.
we're gonna address that, but I'm just letting you know in the future, just probably be prepared that you're probably gonna have to come back in here for that.
Well, okay, well, we'll address it at that time.
Okay.
This is not the time, as long as it gets fixed, because
Yep.
otherwise nothing can happen.
No problem.
Okay.
All right, so do I have a motion?
What would the motion be?
There's no motion.
It's just,
Water-
it's just, yeah, well, just information for
To
us.
have us
Yep.
work with the water department to
Yep.
get I don't think you need a motion, but if you want to
Yep.
do that, it's just a matter of having us
Just
look
permission
into
to
it.
give Mr. Perry and Mrs. Smith and that work with the water department to address this matter.
Yeah, because they may have to dig it up, so yeah, you'd at least give them permission to dig around if
Yep.
necessary.
The replaying ceremony was,
Yeah, it was already.
Yes.
Perry and
Ms. Smith,
Ms. Smith work.
with the water department.
And I'll second that.
Hey, Commissioner Sylvia made that motion, second by Commissioner Rio. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item J. Request from the Department of Children and Family Foster Care Recruitment Table at Father Kelly Park, Globe Street. Let's come up here, please. Sorry for holding you up.
Good evening. My name is Roxana Trujillo. I'm a foster parent recruiter for the Department of Children and Families. The DCF area office address in Fall River is 1822 North Main Street.
So, I've been part of these emails, and I think what she wants to do is have a table at the softball games to just recruit foster care parents in that. I think that's a great idea in that, get more of the community involved for the kids in that, so that's pretty much,
I was also wondering if the board would be able to provide me the contact information of the other directors of the leagues in the area so that I could connect with them as well and ask if it's possible.
you have Mr. Mr. Almeida from the Fall River Youth Soccer.
Hello.
You have Mr. Vining right here from Fall River National.
Hi.
Baseball at Dumont Field. And you have Mr. Patello right here, the president of Kennedy Park Federal Little League.
Perfect.
So they're all here for their permits today for approval, so.
Thank
can
you.
Ask for them to exchange information with them.
Excellent.
So is the board voting, then I'm assuming you want to go to these different locations?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
So that's something the board would have to
Yeah.
vote. Are you going to come in one at a time, or once you know?
Yeah, so basically what we do as foster parent recruiters, we aim to raise awareness about the need for foster homes in our area specifically. So I cover Fall River area office. Right now, I just met with my team last week, and we really want to focus on different sports in the community because we feel like that's a great place to reach the parents and the audience while the games are being played. Foster care is a big need right now in the community, and we are looking for more foster families. So yeah, for example, this weekend I have several events where I have a large team, and we actually are able to do 2-3 events at a time.
So just so the board knows, I can send, once we have our list of contacts for this year's
Leagues.
I can send you their emails, because I don't think that they would mind if everyone got an email. And then once you touch base with them, perhaps you could put a list together of where you want to go on certain dates, and then that would come before the board. So
Okay.
they could all be in one, throughout the summer,
Right.
you want to go here on this date, here, once you set up your schedule, then I would say bring that all at once, and you would be able to go, because it's really not the league that gives you permission, it's the board, but you want to go when the league is actually playing, so that you have the audience.
Right.
So-
Exactly, yeah.
So our next meeting would be May 4th.
May 4th, okay.
So if you got that information to Mrs. Smith the week prior,
Yeah.
we put the agenda, myself and Mrs. Smith put the agenda together the week prior, or like that Friday or Monday of the meeting is like the cutoff date.
Preferably Friday, you've been putting
Yeah.
with a lot of Mondays.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this Monday I had to put it to the end because of my schedule, sorry. But,
Would I have to come back on May 4th?
no, you would just put
Just
the
send a
dates and
letter.
everything, because we already know what you're doing and everything.
Okay.
It's just where you want to be, if you wanted to be at Kennedy, August 12th, and Maplewood, just put all that down for a summer schedule where you
Okay.
want to be after you contact, worked with them and that, and then we'll just approve it all to
Perfect.
give you that. So that way it's May, so that way you'll have it for the whole season.
Excellent.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So do we have a motion, any questions or concerns from any commissioners? Do I have a motion to approve this request?
I make a motion to approve it.
And second, Commissioner Radio made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
So
Thank you.
so the May 4th, would we just be informed because we just approved it now? Is it more informational?
No, you'd have to vote on it, you'd have to vote on her dates and
Yeah,
approving
we're
her
gonna
dates.
vote on all her future dates and locations.
Okay,
This one is just for Father Kelly.
okay.
And this is gonna be for the season or just one time?
For the season.
For the season, okay.
Are you going on a particular night, or do you don't know?
So he provided me with the schedule. I have to look at it and figure that out.
Okay. But if you could just let us know when you're gonna be there, just so we'll know
Okay.
that someone will go, there's somebody here, they don't belong here.
Yeah, exactly.
So just let me know.
Okay,
You'd be
thank
surprised,
you.
we might get phone calls. Okay, so you're all set?
Thank you.
No problem. Just work with Mrs. Smith on everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so, item K, request from Nature's Medicine regarding the installation of little libraries station as a pilot program in Father Kelly Park in South Main Street and Highland Park, Robeson Street. Come on up. State your name and address.
My name is Kaylee Pexoto, and the address of the dispensary is 482 Globe Street. My proposition today is to bring little libraries to the parks around Fall River. I have chose two right now, Father Kelly and Highland, which I heard from Nancy that were the least problematic, the least amount of phone calls that you get to go and have to check them out. Whether that be paraphernalia, whatever it is that is not so safe for kids. So for the pilot program, I'm asking for two little libraries. They look like this, to be put in the parks of Fall River. Not all of them, just those two for right now. And it's just, I think literacy is very important. Well, not just me, this is a big thing, okay? But literacy is very important to everybody, and it can be that bridge between poverty and success, and just bringing literacy to a city where it could keep kids out of trouble. Like the kids walking home from school could grab a book and get themselves immersed in a book and escape in another way besides trouble would be just nice to have. And to be clear, I know we did have a little thing, no sponsoring by a marijuana business at the beginning. We are not looking to put anything, our names on it, nothing. We are just looking to, again, provide literacy for the Fall River community.
That was going to be one of my first questions, so great. That's great.
And I will have all of them monitored by our volunteers. We all do 16 hours of community service a year. If anybody hits it, I don't think they will, but I will go and get those done myself. I will keep those maintained, and again, I don't want anything in there that shouldn't be there. Just again, books, and those will be provided by us as well.
Now, is it going to be like on a borrowing system that they're supposed to bring it back, or just
nope.
take it and that's it?
You can take one, leave one, take it, bring it back,
Okay,
or you
okay,
can just take
okay.
it. If you're in need of a book,
All
keep
right.
it.
Awesome. Any other questions, commissioners? Okay.
How big are these things? I didn't really get a good look at the picture.
So they are, I'm so sorry, they are 2 feet by, the post itself was 5 feet, and I think it was 18 and 36. I think it's 18 inches up and then, or 24 inches up and then 36 and 18.
So it's like 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah, it was
It looks
about
like
2
probably
feet
like a
by-
mailbox or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like a little mailbox
Yeah.
type thing full of books.
I just didn't get a good look at the picture.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really don't have the dimensions listed with me, but I believe it was 2418. Sorry about that. Of course.
Yeah.
Exhibit A.
Yep.
But again, yes, no nature's medicine. We want to decorate them to be something kids want to go to, like Dr. Seussy, like, hey, colorful. Check out literature.
Now, are you going to be installing them?
Yes, so we
Okay.
will completely
So
cover the
it's not going to be our
cost.
park guys doing them, our work?
What is it? I'm
won't be
sorry.
our
Oh,
work
no,
crew. Okay.
all us building them, us supplying them, us going through to make sure that everything in there is clean, not paraphernalia, not broken glass. We also are using plexiglass
Yep.
to avoid breaking the glass. And I know you had brought up a concern for,
Just trash them, putting trash in there or something.
said she was
But
gonna
that's,
wanna keep
as long as you're
But-
monitoring them,
And if I
that's
see it's
fine.
wood, it's going to be all smooth and that, so
Yes.
nobody gets splintered or
Yes.
hurt.
So it's gonna be cemented into the ground?
it is, I believe the post part of it is going to be in the ground, yes.
You might
And
have to call Dig Safe.
and
You're
if
laughing, but
they,
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Well,
I believe, oh wait, really?
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yep.
Good to know.
Mr.
Because
Perry,
it's in a park, I don't know where the lines are, what's underneath it.
If
Does he
she
have-
posts, if they put the posts in the ground to hold these things up, the question was, would
They
they
have to
probably
put
have to
dig-
dig safe?
Deeper than 18 inches.
And I think he
Deeper than
made the
18
post 18 inches for
Yeah.
that.
If you go, no, I think you'd
Yeah.
be okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect. And I know you had just said that if we were to close or anything were to happen with Nature's Medicine, what would happen with them? Again, that is something that we did think about, and we will take care of that as well.
Okay. All right, and you said this was going to be a pilot program, so maybe in the future you'd want to,
A pilot program maybe for this summer in
Hmm.
Father Kelly and Highland Park.
yep. And then in the future, maybe other parks or
Yeah,
something.
I had
Okay.
originally proposed 6, but if 2 work for now, hopefully we can get to the 6 in the future.
Okay. All right, do we have any questions, concerns from any commissioners? All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, but I also want to just say, if this, let's say like 2 months down the line, this is going well, and you guys do want to add the additional, definitely reach out to us, because this is a great program, so.
Yay, thank you so much.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Burns made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Rego. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you guys so much,
Thank
and
you on
thank you
behalf
for
of-
all you do.
Thank you on behalf of the board.
We don't be thinking you're
All right.
Sorry about that.
One second, I know, I'm just getting to it. All right, so the next one's gonna be item L. It's a request for metal detecting in the city parks. You guys can see is attached is in New Bedford detecting application for the board to
No,
review.
yeah, they don't have that attachment.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's.
Oh, you
no-
don't have this?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I'm
was very
sorry.
confused by this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I thought it was part of their agenda.
No,
Okay. Should I read this or no?
no, it's
Okay.
not on your agenda.
Okay. Okay.
New Bedford gives out permits. Fall River has not given out permits in past years because we have a problem with people digging on the ball fields or they don't replace it properly, and then we have people injured. So Fall River stopped giving out metal detector permits.
Oh, this is like someone wants.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they wanted us to like put metal detectors at the park. I'm
No,
like, that
no,
makes
no.
no sense.
No, 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 no. They want to go around with beep, 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 like looking for
Why
hidden
is this
coins
even
and
on the
stuff.
agenda?
Lost treasures. So,
That makes sense
we'd
why I
be
was
getting a call from
confused.
all these guys. We just paid for these fields. What are they digging them up for?
Jesus, I need to go to bed. So, are we just?
All right, so,
It's the board's pleasure.
I make a motion to deny.
okay.
Second that?
Okay, motion to deny, second, by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry,
you,
I just
sorry,
like, threw
guys.
that at you.
All right. Item M is from the Department of Health and Human Services Division. This is just, I'm sure you guys have seen the vac signs around different locations at businesses and that. Director Curran, Tess Curran, is just asking if we can give permission to install the vaccine clinic locations in various parks and mediums, the islands. I don't see it as a big.
These are gonna be like like a political sign?
Yes,
like
you see them at the Boys and
Be
Girls
4 by
Club. and
4 by
everything.
8, 4 by 8.
Metal.
Yeah, 4 by 8.
You see them now, Boys and Girls Club has them on their front lawn and everything. So, any
4 by
questions?
8, John?
That's what it says in here, but she did also say that she was going to use the
Small.
4 by
political
8's
sign.
big.
Yeah, they're
I
little
know,
yacht, they're little
I know,
yacht
but
signs that they
it
have.
does say 4 by 8 here.
It just says, Fall River Vax.
When I did speak to her, though, that was what she referenced, were the political signs that
Yeah.
you would see.
I think they've already been on the island. 'Cause
Possibly. Possibly.
All right, so we're just ratifying it, pretty much, to give permission.
Well, I think she wants to put them in parks.
Right.
Yes, yes. So,
She couldn't come tonight, so
Mhm.
I let her know that I'd be willing to speak on this if she needed me to.
so do you have any questions or concerns, Commissioners?
My own concern is, I hope that DCM and the park workers are not picking these up every morning, and because they're being thrown around the parks. But I'm not against it, but like everything else, we warn the sports league that if you put up signs and they get ripped down and ripped apart, we're not gonna be picking them up every single day, and that's why we instituted that as a pilot program when we first started it, was one of the reasons. So, same thing with this, I hope our workers are not cleaning up these things all day long instead of doing other things in the park.
My only
I'm
suggestion.
not against it,
Okay.
I wanna make that clear.
My suggestion is I would rather have them secured to the fence. That way they're not in a way of our guys cutting grass and everything. Because they're gonna have to move them to cut grass if they're stuck in the grass.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to move them on the islands anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
the islands,
The
that won't
islands
be
is a-
feasible.
The islands are different, but at least at the parks,
Obviously, at this point...
Attach them to like the fence or something.
Obviously, at this point, I think Mrs. Curran is trying to draw attention to
Yeah.
the vaccine clinic, so I think the only opinion she may have on that was some of the fences for the leagues are a little further away from the street. You're not gonna get as much visibility, but if that's what the board wills, then I'm sure she'd be willing, she'd accept that.
Use your judgment, like,
Yeah.
I would say like Maplewood, you could probably put it on the corner of Stafford Road or something.
So how about...
Kennedy, you have on Bradford Avenue, you have, Broadway, you have the two fences that are there.
How about Mrs. Smith, if the board is willing, Mrs. Smith and I will work together with
That's
Mrs. Curran to figure out the proper locations, and if any of the board members see that that might be an issue in any of the locations we pick, you can let us know and we'll address it. Fair enough?
That's fine.
Thank you.
John, I don't know if she has to let the Allison know, because the council, I think, has something to do now with these signs being put on islands. That needs to go before the council. I know she won't have a fee, because I know there's a fee associated. She won't have a fee because it's a city sign. But I know that when the council voted years back about these signs, that they had to go through Allison, because there's a fee for all the signs they put up, like individual people, like companies, when they want to do that. That's why we take them in.
Like the furniture stores and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
but this is a public entity.
Right, so I would just say, let
Yeah,
them know.
this is a public
Just
entity.
let
Yeah,
them
we'll
know as a
notify
courtesy.
them,
We
but-
won't pay.
Yeah.
I mean, she won't pay.
Yep.
But just so that they know, and they don't say the city didn't follow their own rule.
Sure.
We're gonna put it on the fence, aren't we?
Not on the islands, you can't.
No, there's no fences on the islands, Commissioner.
Make a motion to grant permission,
You work with Mr. Perry and
with
Ms.
Mr.
Smith
Perry and the health department
and Mr. Smith.
and Mr. Smith. And, I don't have an issue of location.
Same, second.
Commissioner Sylvia made that motion, second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Item N is, as you know, we're starting to get popular again for all the fields and everything. This is a quote for purchase of 2 soccer goals to possibly be installed at Tavassos Park, Alden Street. As you know, we have a bunch of leagues that use Britland Park. Tavassos is a grass field, and we're starting to get a lot of requests, so we definitely need to do something. And this is the quote right here for 2 goals to be installed. And I would recommend that we anchor them down, not that way, so they're not being moved every time out of the way and they don't get damaged.
These are not, portable goals, are they permanent?
They're permanent, but that price does not include the anchors.
Oh.
Because I didn't know if the board was gonna wanna anchor them.
Because,
I think it's very difficult to walk away with a soccer that size, but I won't say it won't be
Better
done.
knock on
but it's
some wood.
very difficult.
the reason why we want to get
Bring
them,
a truck with them.
the reason we want
Well,
to get them.
if they can take bleachers, they can take soccer nets.
The reason we want to get them anchored is because we're also going to request, part of the field permits and that is the Titans football team is going to use that field to practice and that. We just don't want them moving them on and off, out of the way and everything. If you're practicing, you don't need the soccer field's not going to be, them nets are not going to be in your way, they're in the goal.
No,
Yeah.
personally, I would rather see them anchored and make that.
And that way, nobody's getting hurt, God
Permanent
forbid
field.
somebody climbs on it or something.
I think that field should be a permanent field and,
Yep.
and actually put them in the ground.
They're anchored at Britland, right?
Chain.
But they don't move, so I would say, recommend the same thing.
Before you put chains, they were dragging them across the field.
Yeah.
The little
so-
ones, the big ones were.
No, the big one originally. there
Oh,
was no
years
chains.
ago.
Years
Yeah.
ago, and then we chained them and they
Okay.
perfect.
All right. So, do we have a permission to go for quotes and also give Mr. Smith permission to get the quote for the anchors and install these?
Ms. Smith, is this coming out of the regular budget?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we purchase the goals and have Ms. Smith get, quotes for the Yankees.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Sylvia made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Rigo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All righty. Item P.
Q.
Oh,
Oh. Item
P
A.
for
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a
That's why I put
minute.
you at P.
One second. Item O, sorry. Item O, discussion of, I looked at this thing over here, that's why sorry. Item O, discussion of awarding the field permits for the 2022 season. So, as the rest of the commissioners know that, as the chairman, normally I'm getting emails in the chain of command and the chain between Mr. Perry, Mrs. Smith, and the administration. Last Friday, the administration had Mrs. Smith, Mr. Perry, myself, and everything up in a meeting discussing is everybody's paperwork in order and that, because we had to extend the the deadline from, I believe it was February to March 15th. At our last meeting, we gave till 15th. There are some leagues that are still missing certain paperwork and that. So it's going to be the recommendation for the administration too, is to work with this, is like the licensing board and that does when someone's coming for a license and that, give a pending approval that they work with the police department, everything to get all their paperwork in order and that. So my recommendation is gonna give the leagues, we don't wanna hurt the kids and everything and that, if they're missing their 501(c)(3)s, their solicitation forms or anything, we're gonna give permission that will approve all the permits pending. They will not be able to pick up their permits until the paperwork is turned in that Mrs. Smith is missing. So that is gonna be the recommendation per the administration. And next year, we are gonna be working on a strict policy that there is not gonna be no leeway.
Is there a deadline for that?
I would say within, some of these leagues are gonna be opening Saturday for like soccer leagues, and they have games already scheduled. Baseball, some of them are opening days. I believe Maplewood is the 9th
Yes,
of
which
April.
Maplewood is inviting all you. to
Yes,
go.
they're inviting us all there at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 9th for opening day, all you commissioners. I think Mr. Patel and Mr. Vining's leagues are not until the 23rd and that, so they got a few weeks. But I would say they need to work with whoever they need to get. It's simple paperwork and everything, but we've been asking for this for a couple of months already.
23rd?
I think that we should make if we do this, like, which I'm fine with, but there should be like you have 30 days or 45 days or whatever the case may be, because if we just say, yep, you have to do it, and it's August and they still don't have it.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Well, no, they're not.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying it.
But
Like,
they're
I
not
feel
gonna
like-
have their permit, so now they're taking a chance playing on these fields without a permit. So if anybody else goes there and uses that field, they can't throw them off. They don't have their and we can also give other leagues their times.
Correct, but I think we should give them a time frame that they
No,
need
no, I
to, so
understand.
that we don't
So
get
I
to
think
that.
if they don't have it by their opening day.
Yep.
Which is what I think that's, by each league has their own opening day.
Mhm.
So if they don't have it by their opening day, then they have to, I mean, some of the paperwork is not that hard. Some of the paperwork is rosters. Some of the paperwork is a document from the IRS or a document from the state of Massachusetts. I don't know about you, but if that was gonna stop me from opening my league, I'm gonna get on these people to get me what I need, because I'm gonna say, listen, I have 500 kids that are depending on these things for me to get my permit. So basically, we're having them put the squeeze on whoever they need to get the paperwork that we're asking every other league to do. And that's what we were kind of told. Listen, if other people can do it, people need to do it. I understand there's extending circumstances, but we all have to pursue what we need individually as a league to be able to put forth this documentation. So right now, I'm working on, I've sent emails out to everyone who has missing documents, so they know exactly what we need. And what the conversation is I won't be able to release your permit and for you to have it for your opening day. Now, if they don't have it by their opening day, now they're gonna face jeopardy of the time slots becoming open for other people that may have their paperwork in order. So it's just kind of holding everyone to the same
Yep.
accountability.
As long as there's some sort of deadline that they know, like
So my
anytime after
deadline for
this-
them, I would say, for the board, is their opening day,
Okay.
because everyone needs, practice is one thing if somebody's on your field, but when you start your opening day and you have scheduled games and whatever, all of that information should be to me. Some other leagues, like the adult leagues, don't start until May. They don't start until the 29th of April. So tentatively, they don't have everything in order, and I understand that, but when you're asking, is my permit ready? Then you should have what this board is asking for ready, and that's what we were kind of told, so.
And then, not to name any leagues and everything, like I said, there's rosters, there's 501(c)(3)s, there, stuff, there's solicitation things. If you do not have a solicitation thing in, if you've already solicited money and everything, you cannot, until we have that solicitation in hand, cannot put any banners or anything up. I apologize, but I think more important is the kids playing on the field than advertising.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
do I have the floor?
Yes, Mr. Silva. Yep.
We've been talking about this. I know some members have not been here as long, but we've been talking about this, solicitation stuff, getting paperwork in for permits for years. We make rules, we change our rules, we extend deadlines. I'm sorry, but I have an issue with this policy. Okay? We extended the deadline again a meeting or two ago. Okay? Because we had leagues in here saying, oh, well, I don't have registration going on, I got this, I got that. So this board bends over backwards again to accommodate these leagues. These leagues don't care about this board or our rules. Okay? I know that's not a popular thing to say, but I'm not here to be popular. Okay? Some of these leagues register their kids in the fall. So don't tell me you can't give me a list of names of your players in your league in April. And then, now you want to push it back more to opening day, the end of the month. I'm sorry, but I will not support that. Because this board makes rules and we cater to everybody more than we have to. Okay? And we shouldn't have to do that. We are the body that runs the park department and hands out permits. We asked for something, the solicitation thing's been going on for 3 years. Don't tell me that you didn't renew it from last year when it expired in January or February. You're gonna come here in April and tell me that? We changed the rule. We said as long as you apply and you can show us an email from the state or some kind of documentation from the state that it's being processed, we'll accept that. But now we're gonna change it again because players don't have rosters and whatever. I'm sorry, I will not support this.
Well, like I said, Commissioner, we're also gonna...
I'm not against kids playing.
No, this is the first, like I said, this is gonna be now on the leagues, for the administration. They are not gonna get their permits until Mrs. Smith has this paperwork in hand. So now it's gonna be their due diligence to get it done pronto.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
And I apologize to the administration.
Yep.
But this board has had rules doing that for the last whatever number of years. Get your stuff in, get your stuff in. But so now we're gonna change it again and try and accommodate people. I'm not against letting kids play. And Mrs. Smith is right when she said you have an adult running the league who can't get paperwork in and is gonna be responsible to have to answer to those 500 kids.
I said that.
Something to that effect. Right? I'm sorry, but why are we gonna change the rules again? I understand now the administration's involved. Of course, it's the first time I'm hearing about it today, but I would have liked to have been in on that conversation. But it's just absolutely foolish to me that we keep changing these rules. And they still can't get this stuff in. So maybe it's time that we put up with towns and say, whatever league it is, I'm sorry, but you're not getting a permit this year.
Good luck. Jeff, please.
Commissioners, do you,
Yeah, I'm done.
Mr. Smith?
We're doing everything in our power to try to work with these leagues. But we can't at the 11th hour say you can't have it. The problem is, and I will say to you, you're right in some cases where all these documents, 501c3s, these are documents that you have to maintain by filing your taxes. So these are things that should be easily in your possession, and I understand, the the certificates of solicitation may be a little bit delayed, but they're not, the thing is, when you're right, when you know it's expiring, you have to, it's like your driver's license. I know it's expiring, so what do? Just go, my driver's license is expired when the cop pulls me over? No. You go to the registry, you go where you have to go, and you do what you have to do to pursue that so that you get it done. I understand what you're saying, but at this point, in the 11th hour, the most I can do is say, we can't release your permits until you have that. These kids are all signed
I
up.
respectfully disagree with that.
I agree with what you're saying.
We've been dealing with this for years. I don't understand why we're gonna say, as you say, the 11th hour, to change the rules. The rules have been the rules. I'm only one vote.
Well, they're
We
not
can do what
getting,
we want.
technically, they're not getting the permit until they give that paperwork. What do you want, are you saying that if they're turning it in late, they should get punished and not get the permit for all year? Because
No.
technically, they're not getting the permit.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Technically, the way we're setting it up right now, they are not releasing the permit until all the paperwork is in.
What I'm
So
saying
you're
is-
right.
What I'm
You want
saying
them
is
to meet
that-
the deadlines.
What I'm saying is, I'm getting the impression that these leagues are trying to dictate to us what our rules are gonna be, and when they can follow them and when they don't have to.
You're not getting the impression.
No.
That has been what happened. But at this point, the administration
trying to crack
has
down.
said, we will
Yes,
stick by you.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, I understand what you're saying,
Yep.
but we've been trying to crack down on this for years. For years. When are we gonna say, the buck stops here, that's it? Okay? This board gets pushed around by these people, okay? And it's getting a little frustrating, a little tiring.
And
Okay? Because as was said, this is something like your driver's license. It needs to be renewed every year, and it doesn't. They have registration in the fall. Why can't we get a list in March or April, how many kids you got in your league?
Granted, I respect everything you're saying. And the thing is, it is the 11th hour. There's some of these leagues that are starting Saturday, this weekend and everything. And for a piece of paper, I understand. But it's not the kids' fault. It's the adults
I
that run the
totally
leagues.
agree
That's
with
what
you.
I
I totally
understand.
agree
I am
with
not gonna hurt these kids or these parents
I
and
totally
not give
agree
them
with
their
that.
stuff. So guess what? It's on their administrations of their leagues to get their stuff done, because then they have to answer the
And
parents'
apparently
questions.
they
and that.
don't care.
Well, they're gonna have to answer the questions, or guess what? Then parents are gonna go elsewhere next year, because next year, the rules are gonna be strict.
The rules are.
We're gonna work on that new policy and that, and it's gonna,
Next year.
but I'm just saying. Go ahead, Commissioner Verse.
So I have two questions. I may regret both.
I may regret answering them.
No, that's, no. Estimated, how many people are we waiting on?
How many leagues?
Yes,
Minimum of 4 that start now,
okay.
and the probably 6 to 7 that are starting in the month of April.
And that's
Still
out of,
paperwork.
that's out of how many?
you probably got, Durfee, I'm counting Durfee.
They haven't gotten you
That
their
has the
stuff?
paperwork.
Oh, that has. I was like, let me.
Because all they need to give us is a request and a liability policy,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they're city, whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, 3, 4, 5, 6, you probably got a good 10 that are missing things down the road. And they're the majority of them, because they're all kind of, they may be one league, but there may be 4 groups in that one league.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would say the majority have been. With my past emails this week, kind of getting a little bit more, you need to get this document, or I might not be able to release your permit, like a preview of, because I kind of knew what was coming.
Yep.
I've been getting a little bit more information in.
Okay,
But
so-
I agree with Commissioner Sylvia that we shouldn't have to use threatening tactics to get the
No, it's a
information
joke.
that we want.
I agree with him. It is an absolute joke that
Yep.
I've only been here for 2 years, and the amount of times I've heard this poor man go on rants about this, I'm like, I can't. My second question is, just so I can understand this better, so if someone has an opening day, they have not gotten your paperwork, we're still allowing them to have their opening day, essentially. But if I decide I want to go there and play baseball, they can't kick me off. So I think I might have to go play some baseball on several different opening days. But is that the gist?
Bring a soccer ball too, because I don't want to just like put the baseball in the bad light.
Trying to lighten the mood a little bit in this room. But is that that's basically what we're
That's
saying?
pretty much. I had one other question now.
We're hoping it doesn't come to that.
Well, obviously, but my thought is, I feel like there has to be if it's 2 months into their season and they
Well, no,
haven't.
because I think what was said is if the paperwork's not there, then we're gonna ante up your time.
Yep.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
your
I
time's
just wanna
gonna,
make
your
sure that
time's
there is
gonna,
some-
eventually, it has to come to a point where these leagues understand that if you don't give us we give them the privilege of, if you've had it before, we will hold your time so your league kind of has this opportunity to have that field again. So they have the almost, not an automatic renewal, they have to supply the paperwork for the renewal, but almost like a marker holding their place for the following year. So what they do have to understand is if you're not gonna get your stuff in time, and I have another new league that has all the documents that I want, they might push you out of your spot.
Yep.
But that's where it comes into the fact of we need everyone from top to bottom on the same page, because the board needs that backing. So that's what it is. If you don't get this paperwork in, you have to understand that there are other people that do want this, and perhaps your time is gonna come up.
Okay, so I would like to avoid this, obviously, for next year.
Yeah.
We'll be here. Maybe this is just a suggestion from me, maybe we have a meeting, I don't know, in January, and we request that anyone who's going to be wanting a permit for the summer come, so that I know that you obviously send the emails out, but it might be something like, Mr. Patel's always here, like there's certain individuals that are always here and they're always available to us, so that might be something that we may want to have. I don't know if it's a special meeting or whether it's a meeting with just 2 commissioners, so it doesn't have to be a formal board meeting, but something in which where every single person who wants a permit knows, like, this is what you need to do, and if you don't have it done by this time, you will not get a permit.
That's
And
the
if
letter that we send out on
No.
January 25th to
No,
every league.
No, I know you send it, but sometimes like face-to-face type of thing,
the
or even if we do it
purview.
via Zoom, like it may be something that we might
That's-
want to
the
consider.
boards can do whatever they want.
Just
to
because
follow that letter, yep.
I don't know if I can have another conversation like this again a year from now.
Now, question for you, Ms. Smith. Not to name leagues and everything like that. The league that does not have the solicitation, do they have everything that you need for their permit?
Yes.
So then I would say their permit would be released, and they just can't advertise. I'd rather
The board's
worry about the
purview.
kids, not worrying about advertisement. I'm not here for advertisement. I want the kids on the field.
But then,
That's more important.
okay, so now you're putting me in a situation where if somebody has, okay, what if someone don't have their particular 501c3 in? The kids want to play too. So you can't say,
Yeah, it's all or
if you
nothing.
have this, you just can't advertise. If you have this, you just can't play. I guess the advertisement piece is a little different. But that's something this board decides, not me. So yes, I guess you could say that, because you can still play, because we do have leagues that are not a 501c3 that do play. But the certificate of solicitation, whatever advertising my personal opinion is they can do whatever advertising they want anywhere else. But when you put the advertisement on park fences, now that involves the sport. So whatever they do without a certificate of solicitation is none of my business and none of this board's business as far as I see, but except when it comes to the banners.
Yeah.
So
That's why
that's the only thing.
My suggestion, that's what I'm saying, is like,
Yes, the
the
only
most
thing that
important
this
thing that
board
we're
controls of
requesting,
that is their banners.
unless it's gonna be on our property, the most important thing that we're requesting is their 501(c)(3)s, their rosters and that. So if they didn't turn that in, they don't get their permit. If that league turned all that other stuff in.
They did.
Then they get their permit.
They have.
I think it's more important to get the kids playing than worrying about advertisement.
My issue is not advertising,
No, I understand that.
not at all.
Yeah.
My issue is getting the paperwork in per order of this board. Okay? And again, this board extends deadlines. Okay? And this board refuses to put its foot down and say, I'm sorry, because, you know, let the president of the league explain to the kids why they can't play tonight, because some families playing on their field because they don't have a permit. It's not our
The
fault.
only way to stop that is the first come, first served then. Whoever has their paperwork in, that makes everybody want to jump to here's the, you know, then that's the way to stop it. But that's gonna be another commotion.
In the past, we
Exactly,
talked
you gotta be
about-
careful what you wish for.
In the past, we talked about maybe charging fees. Maybe it's time to fine these people when they don't have their stuff in.
Fine
I
them.
don't know. I will fine
Mr.
it.
Perry?
Some kind of penalty.
Hi, Mr. Perry.
Hey, guys. Commissioner? I'm not to interrupt, I'm gonna let you
Go right
yield.
ahead.
So, I agree with a lot of points on both sides. I definitely agree that this has been an ongoing issue for years and needs to be corrected. I definitely agree that I don't want to have that conversation again. But I also agree with Mr. Chair and Mrs. Smith that there are a lot of consequences to just kind of putting our foot down right now at this moment. Now, what I will tell you is different in my experience, Commissioner Sylvia, this year than other years, is the administration is committed to fixing this problem. Now, can we fix this problem within the next month before all these leaks start? No. I really don't believe that we have the ability to do that. And along those lines, I think if we start going down the road of saying, okay, you can have your permit, but you can't solicit, we run the risk of another league possibly saying, well, I can't solicit, but they don't have that, and you allow them to do this. I think then we get into the minutia of back and forth. I think we need to make a concerted effort between the board and the administration, starting now, all right? Running right through the regular leagues in the summer and the spring, and the spring and the summer, right into the fall. So that way next year, this is all done. This is on paper. The administration and the board are in sync with what they feel should happen. We could even possibly put it out there publicly prior to, like you said, let's say December, January, early January, and say, okay, this is the new policy, maybe an old policy, but just strengthen the fact that it will be enforced.
Well, we will probably have the answers already for fall ball.
Right.
And they're all leagues and everything, so
Yeah.
this is pretty much gonna be just for the spring and summer.
What I think happens, Commissioner Sylvia, and has happened in the past that I've seen happen firsthand, we have this debate, we have this argument, you are correct. The board bends over backwards to help the leagues and allows them to play. Once that takes place, it's forgotten.
Party's over.
The league goes on its way and does its thing. The board has a number of other things that they have to worry about, and we don't come back to revisit it. But I know Commissioner De Silva, I know Nancy, myself, and the administration. If you'd like to be part of those conversations, that's something I'm sure that the chair wouldn't have an issue with. But I think as immediately, we need to start sitting down at the table as early as next week and start these conversations back up with the administration. We had a brief meeting with the administration. We covered a lot. But there are also other things that we covered that are still up in the air, whether that be charging for certain things or what will be allowed. So I think if we make that concerted effort to get back to the table, iron out these issues before fall, and then next year we move forward with a new mindset. Next year, if we set these protocols in place and they look as though they're not being followed again, I will keep my butt in that seat and mind my business. Because I agree with you wholeheartedly that there's been too many times where we've allowed things to happen, people to play that didn't do the right thing. And then you have other leagues who dot their I's and cross their T's, and they feel slighted as well. So, you know what I mean? It's not just hurting the kids. We don't want to hurt the kids that are playing for leagues that may not be doing the right thing, but we also want to be fair to the leagues that are going above and beyond and making sure that they have everything in order every year. Yeah. It's not fair to them if the other leagues get to play. So I agree with both sides, but I think at this point, we're not going to get that answer within a month.
No, and my thing is too, I'm not going to hurt a kid right now that their parents have committed to that league. If that league don't got their paperwork, and now we hold their permit and don't give them a permit and say, you can't play. Now, most of these other leagues are already tied up and everything. They got their players in that. Where does these kids go from that league? That's not fair to them parents or them kids. It wasn't them that did that situation.
And to your point, I'll give you a small example.
Yep.
You know, when my son was younger,
Yep.
there was a year where, you know, he was continuously late at school. They gave him a detention. Now, I felt that was my responsibility because I was the individual bringing him to school. He didn't have a driver's license, didn't have a car. He had no means to get to school other than his father. I had that debate, but at the end of the day, he paid the consequence for something I didn't make sure happened on time, okay? I had to accept that, and I think at a certain point, these leagues are going to have to accept that these children are gonna have to suffer if you don't do what you're supposed to do. I just don't think right now that statement is gonna make any difference. I think there will be a couple of leagues that probably would suffer right now, and I think we can avoid that, and next year, make sure that the proper protocols are in place and followed.
And the other thing is, John, and to be honest with you guys, the 501c3s, the certificate of solicitations, maybe we ask for them to be in December, and you can't even move forward with the rest of the stuff. All we would be waiting for is team signups and schedules. So
Great
if those
idea.
things are
And
put in
rosters.
place the year before, if you don't have those two documents, don't sign up kids, period.
So-
End of discussion. That could be done in November or December. This way, if you're not gonna be in September and go, I got till March to get that. No, you have until December 31st to give us your 501c3, because your 501c3 is a document that you have to keep up with your taxes. If you don't keep it up within a 3-year period, you lose your 501c3 status. The only problem we have, and unfortunately, it's a new league, but new leagues know that's an exception or whatever, we'll have to cross that bridge. But they need to know, if you're gonna establish a new league, make sure your paperwork is in order for the end of the previous year, so you can participate in putting your league together in the
So,
spring.
great idea, great policy change, something that can be added into the protocols for next year. That, to my point. I'm not arguing your point. I agree wholeheartedly.
I'm not looking to argue.
It needs to
okay?
get corrected.
I'm not looking to hurt kids, okay?
Yeah,
But
It's disrespectful.
it needs to, it is.
people are missing a point.
It is disrespectful.
We set rules last year at this
Agreed.
time, when we had this problem. And a year down the road, we still have the problem, okay? I know we're not gonna fix this tomorrow, next week, next month.
Shit.
But why?
No,
Because the people that apply for permits think that they can come in here and do whatever they want. I'm sorry, I was a league president for 12 years. I came before this board, I went before the city council, okay? For permission to do things way back when, and guess what? My ducks were in order, because it took care of business. These people are not taking care of business, the ones that are guilty of these infractions, but they get away with it.
I understand.
Okay.
I do.
Enough.
So,
Where do we stand?
do I make a motion? Anybody else have any questions? Any other
no.
questions?
Before
The motion, we have the papers by
I have
December
a question
31st.
for the motion.
Yes, Mr. Silva. Commissioner Silva.
I don't know if you can, through the chair. Can we get, the board members get a list of who's missing what?
I can provide that. But I would prefer that the list does not go floating around
Yes,
town to disrespect
It's
it.
confidential between us.
I want it for my knowledge, because I
Yes.
don't know who
Yes.
has what.
Although, I don't know, now that you discussed it, it might be public information.
Then
I think that's a fair request.
Yeah.
I think that's more than fair.
if it's not, I'll withdraw it.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve pending, they get that their permits are all approved? And Mrs. Smith will hold them until she gets all her proper paperwork she needs. If everybody's turned their stuff in, they will get their permit released. Do I have that
Yes,
motion?
I'll make a motion that.
And I'll second it.
Commissioner Farias made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Riga. All in favor, say aye, or do you want to do a...
Can you tell me what the motion is again? I'm clear.
So, the motion was made that, so I'm just saying, I need a motion, so you would have to say this, is the motion would be that we're given permission pending that all permits are approved, pending Mrs. Smith will hold possession of the permits until she's deemed that she's requested, received all proper paperwork that we asked for. If they have all their proper paperwork, other than the one organization that doesn't have the advertisement stuff, they can advertise wherever they want. They're taking that chance, not on our property.
So if you
I think it's more
have all your
important to get the-
paperwork in, you get your permit.
Yep.
If you have some paperwork in, you still get a permit.
You don't get your permit until you turn that paperwork in. She's gonna hold their permit, it's gonna be approved. It's just they're not gonna get that permit in hand, so now they're taking a chance, going on them fields, playing, having their games. If somebody in the public goes there and plays, they can't throw them off, because they don't have their permit officially.
So if I'm there with a pickup game, 8 guys,
Me and you, let's go.
you can't, let's do it. You can't kick me off the field. And that would be their punishment at that point. I mean,
And
there's a chance
then-
it could happen.
And then say somebody, another league or something needed time, for instance, like soccer guys, the soccer field, Britland, there's.
I think the board has to come to a point where,
This is like-
the board has to come to a point, if the paperwork is not in, then unfortunately,
The permit is not released.
you can't
Okay.
give the permit,
Can I
right?
amend this
mean,
motion? I make a motion that we revisit
You have to
next
take the
month.
other motion off the
How-
table, I
Okay,
think.
the-
Yeah, we'll take the other motion off the table.
so I make a motion that we give pending approval to anyone until they get all of their information in, and then they can get their physical permits once they have them. I also, part of my motion is we revisit next month. You let us know who has already started, who has not given you everything, and then we will revisit at that point. If there's 3 people who still have not given their stuff, they've already had their opening day and they're actively playing, we can tell them, hey, you've had this amount of time, and we
We're
can.
pulling your permit.
We can
Yes.
pull it and say that
There
you
you go.
cannot participate. We have given them the chance for them to have the kids play, but if they don't get it within the next month, then in the May meeting, we will address it.
There you go.
I'll second
Second
that.
That seems fair. Commissioner Burns made that motion.
have to call me
Second by
tomorrow.
Commissioner Rigo.
I'm not calling
All
you
in-
tomorrow.
do
I'll
we
see you in a
wanna-
month.
Are you gonna vote in the positive, or do you want me to do a roll call?
Whatever you want.
All right, or I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Sylvia.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Burns.
Yes.
Commissioner Farias.
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Rigo. Commissioner Sylvia, yes. Hey, Commissioner, all you
So next
presidents
month,
and
we're
everybody,
revisiting
understand
anyone who
that?
doesn't have the permits.
Get on your stuff. And then there's a couple other things that we're gonna talk about after the agenda,
Chris is
that
sleeping.
people can stick around. Okay.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna let Chris enjoy the spotlight for a little while.
Okay, item P,
5 seconds.
It should be very quick.
permission to solicit bids to repair damage to the stone wall at the Locust Street side of the cemetery. I asked Mr. Pirano to put this on the agenda because I've been driving Mr. Pirano crazy for over a year to take care of this matter, because my feelings is perpetual care is the surrounding of that cemetery and that, and it's our responsibility to make sure that it's taken care of and that. I'll let him explain.
And I drive by that all the time and I see it and I say, why hasn't it been fixed?
We've
Why
tried
hasn't it
to,
been
we've
fixed?
tried to save money in our operating budget to fix it at the end of last fiscal year. We didn't have it. We're not gonna have it again this fiscal year. Our budget is lean and we spend the money wisely, but it goes to necessary purchases.
Gonna do it in July.
So we would like to solicit bids and use perpetual care funds to fix the wall. From preliminary conversations, I don't think it would cost any more than $4,000. Again, we've had this discussion before. The city funds our day-to-day operation, from lawn mowing to tree removal, leaf removal, all of those things at the burials. And they fund our equipment purchases. We don't come to this board for perpetual care to purchase equipment, or our daily operation. I think these bigger projects are what perpetual care is for, and that's why we're here.
Perpetual care is not to fix walls. Perpetual care is to take care of the graves.
And the city takes care of the graves through our operations.
Perpetual care pays for that. That's what they do when they.
Perpetual
when they-
care does not pay for us to cut the grass.
They don't?
No.
Then why do we pay for perpetual care?
To do things like this, to maintain the roads, to maintain the buildings, to maintain the general infrastructure of the cemetery, to make sure that it is an operable cemetery for as long as it can be.
Them walls and fence that surround that cemetery is to protect them graves and everything, that the people that paid for that, that's to protect them. If we're going by, it's an eyesore seeing a wall busted down with a fence and that for over a year. If I'm a family member there, I'd be disgraced that that's like that.
And the other thing is our perpetual care number is not large enough to support our daily operation. We would burn through that money very, very quickly if it were to pay for the operation to cut grass.
And my
do those
understanding
things.
was, it was somebody hit the wall, no insurance.
Uninsured,
So,
correct.
they're uninsured,
Uninsured, I believe it was a stolen vehicle. so
stolen
they weren't
vehicle,
even
we're not getting
licensed.
that money to fix that wall. So, we need to use perpetual care to fix that. That is part of what.
It was a
perpetual-
stolen vehicle, was it the vehicle wasn't insured?
I don't even think the vehicle was registered.
He's just winning.
Yeah.
So, you go by Locust Street, across from the dog park, and you just see that entrance, that wall's all busted down.
We have. It has been
The gate
sitting
in
there
It should be secure.
unrepaired for a while. We have looked at, we tried to do it at the end of last fiscal year. I got some quotes. We did not have enough money to do it. We were looking at doing it again this year, and we're not gonna have that money in our operating budget.
Now, normally, same thing, same cemetery and that. When it happened, like when someone went through the gates or something at Oak Grove, that was fully insured or something like that, so the insurance paid for that, or we
Right,
paid?
yes.
Yeah, so, it's a
Yeah,
different
the
situation.
city has a company that goes after
Yeah.
the insurances
Yep.
to recoup our funds.
Yep. So, do I have a permission, do I have a motion to request for bids so we can use, get this wall fixed?
Motion
and
to
fence?
request a bid.
Request for bids and use perpetual
Second.
care.
Yes.
Commissioner Sylvia made that motion, seconded by Commissioner Farias. I'm gonna take a roll call vote. Commissioner Sylvia,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Commissioner Farias,
Yes.
Commissioner Sylvia, yes. Commissioner Rego,
No.
Commissioner Rego votes no. All right. Item Q, request for a tree removal at the corner of Valentine and Reading Street, overgrown, fallen branches due to the trucks and high winds. Is this one tree or two trees?
That's two trees
Two trees,
in front of a house that fronts on Valentine. The trees are located on Reading Street, both of which are rated for removal, so we should remove both of these trees.
Are we looking at replanting any in the future, or no, down that way, or no?
So we're looking at a fall planting in general, through this grant that we received for stump removal. We would pay for the stump removal, we'd get reimbursed by the state, and we'd use the reimbursement to do tree plantings. So we're looking at that. I don't necessarily know if they would go in this exact location, but
I
we're
would like
looking at
to,
tree plantings.
I'd like to see if we can, if we're gonna take down two, let's plant two back somewhere. Okay,
Make a motion to
motion,
approve.
Commissioner Burns, second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sylvia, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Commissioner inquiries. So a couple of things. I wrote down some notes, and I just to fill in the rest of the board and different things. I'll call them the chairman notes. The dog park benches, I want to say a special thank you to DCM workers for refurbishing and installing. Mr. Perry, as you guys know, Community Development paid for all brand-new benches at Columbus Park. The benches that were at Columbus Park, the old metal benches, DCM saved 4 of them and repainted them and everything, and we had them install them at the dog park, because you know, I gave the order that somebody had put plastic antibiotic chairs that were all broken in that, and I had foreman of the parks remove them from the dog park because it wasn't our property, and there's a liability if somebody was gonna get hurt in these things. Been on social media and everything, and some people are thanking us and everything, thanking the city and everything for putting them in, so now they can actually sit down. There was a couple of benches there that was installed years ago, but now we place them in strategically in the corners and everything, so they're enjoying them in it, and they just wanted to say thank you and everything. If you looked on social media, there was a lot of positive feedback for that. Ms. Smith, I know we approved this sometime last year, I believe. We bought some new dog decoys to be installed at Tavassos Field for the geese, because, you know, the geese are all over the field and everything, and I think Ms. Smith told me Mr. Reposa, who's a counselor now, is the principal at Espiritu Santos Church. He's willing to bring them in and out every night so that they don't get destroyed at night and leave them.
Well, afternoon.
Oh, afternoon. I'm sorry.
Go back at night,
Yeah.
you know, when
Yeah.
school's over,
Yeah.
take
But
them
he's
back
gonna bring
in.
him, he's gonna put them in the morning, first thing in the morning, back on the field, and then take them before school ends off and keep them at the school, so that way they're maintaining that, so that we try to keep the geese off that field. What was brought up on that meeting as well is schedulings and everything from the leagues and that. So like I said, I'm part of the chain that goes back and forth between any leagues and everything, between schedule and that. When they request their permits, they give in their time slots and everything. I know some stuff happens and everything, but we have all these leagues, especially soccer leagues that are at Berlin. It's very time consuming for Mrs. Smith and everything, that leagues are given a certain time frame, what they wanted. We cannot be now assuming that we know, we're not fortune tellers and that, to say, oh, I can't make it at that time, I want to use it this time and that, and everything. They need to work with Mrs. Smith. When your schedule is set in stone, that's set in stone. We're not going to take someone else's league or ask another league now, oh, well, can you play in the morning so I can have afternoons and that? We're not going to tolerate that no more. They need to work with Mrs. Smith and that in the future with that scheduling. Mr. Perry, lighting. So we talked about this last year, that the lighting now at Father Kelly Park, you're gonna be taking care of it to make sure that the re-aiming is not blinding the adult park at True Park.
Correct.
Thank you. So that way Mr. Blaze is not coming back saying that his players are injured.
So I play in that league, I want to be able to see too. Play in that league, I want to be able to see as well.
Okay. All right, the other thing, Mr. Pirano was here, we approved this a while back, just to let everybody know in the public and that, on Saturday, April 30th at 10 to 2, Arbor Day Fair at North Park. Going to be joined to learn about forestry, career, planting trees, take home your own seedlings, enjoy the food trucks, demonstrations, and much more on Saturday, April 3rd at North Park. I invite everybody to go down there, and
30th.
commissioners and everything. April 30th, yep.
Oh, I thought you said 3rd.
So if you guys
putting that
want,
on? Who's
it's on
putting
the
that
city website, I believe.
Oh, boy, give me the paper now, you showed it, I need the paper for the
putting it
minutes.
on?
There you go. We are,
Oh, we are?
yeah. The city of Fall River.
Did he come before the park board?
Yeah, he came before the park, yes. It's 10 to 3, correct? 10 to 3? 10 to 3, it says?
April what?
10 to 2. 10 to 2 at North Park. Is it
April
gonna be
30th,
at the
10 to
lower
2.
park?
It'll be on Snake Hill Drive.
The Snake Hill, all right, Snake Hill. Okay, commissioner inquiries. The commissioner inquiries. Okay, nobody?
No takers, come on.
I'm
Nobody?
cutting my mouth shut.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Farias Commissioner Rego made that motion. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Farias, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.